All right. So Google has probably got to be one of the most overlooked big tech stocks that are out there. It's easy to look at Tesla or Apple and just be like, you know what, I'm going to throw money in there and buy it. But there's a lot of things that are overlooked with Google. And I think one major thing that's going to be overlooked with them during these upcoming earnings is travel related. Some of you might not realize how directly related Google and their search engines are to travel. If you are trying to find a place to go, or you've already decided where you want to go and you want to find out what flights are, you want to know where to stay, what are the best places to go, chances are you're going to Google it or maybe even YouTube certain destinations to find out more about them. And YouTube makes money off of that. Google makes money off of those because of the advertising and the SEO related around that. I mean, we talk about how Delta, Ed Bastian, the CEO of Delta, talked about how they saw record revenue and record demand over the last 5 weeks, and they expect that to continue, so much so that they're expecting to be profitable this year. The only airline to actually project that. All the other airlines are also projecting incredible numbers. And actually, I also wanted to share with you as well. American Express, how this is all going to tie in here. American Express came out with amazing earnings last Friday. The card spending was up 35%, which again tells me that there is still incredible spending as it relates to travel because of just how many benefits you get from spending with American Express on travel related items. Over 3 million cards were added over the quarter, which, as you might be able to tell, I'm pretty bullish on American Express too. But spending from millennials and Gen Zers made up over 50%, 56% of revenue. So people my age and younger are spending stupid money on travel. And really, when you get down to it, people that are my age or younger, they're more about experiences. There's less interest in material things. And so I think that this travel boom is probably propelled by people that are my age and younger. But it's not just isolated to that group either. The older generation, the Gen Xers and the baby boomers are also getting in on the Airbnb game. Airbnb talked about last two quarters ago about how they saw an increase of 60% of interest and search volume from those who were 60 years and older. That is an incredible number. And I imagine when we hear from Airbnb's earnings later on in the next week or two, that they're going to see more of the same. Lodging has also increased there. And all of this, again, comes back to Google. That's where it all starts. If you're going to search for a flight, chances are you're searching through Google. If you're going to search a destination, chances are you're trying to find out where to stay through Google or YouTube. And so I think that this is something that, while there's so many other things, right, that Google's made up of, or Alphabet, that this is one thing that I think does seriously get overlooked. And they have earnings tomorrow, which is Tuesday, April 26th. It'll be after hours. I will be live for that. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell for when I go live at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time to give you those reactions on Alphabet, as well as Microsoft, Enphase, and all the other ones that are going to be reporting earnings after hours tomorrow. Google's estimated earnings per share is going to be at $26.11, and the revenue is at $68.04 billion. Their YouTube revenue brings in more than Netflix does on its own, which is absolutely insane. And so for this reason, you can imagine that I'm pretty excited about these Google earnings. Looking at the chart, though, it has been a bit tumultuous. There was a real strong key area for those of you who are my Chaos Crew. I pointed this out to you guys. If you're not a part of the Chaos Crew, make sure you hit that join button next to subscribe. I put a watch list out every morning before the market opens, and you get a snapshot of what I'm looking at. What stocks am I interested in, and what are ones worth looking at for today and maybe even later on in the future as well. But Google was on here, and I pointed out that $2,500 per share was a really key area for Google, but that broke down last week. And I had mentioned that if it did break down below 2,500, it could get ugly. The next area that would be worth taking a look at would be around 2,370 and then maybe 2,350 if it couldn't hold that area. Well, today, which is Monday, April 25th, it did actually hold that almost on the button. 23.70 and 22 cents is where it held. I would imagine that if they actually do really well in earnings, we could see a potential test of that 50-day moving average at $2,600. It's 26.66. Watch out. And then there's another resistance up here at 26 or 27.69. Now, what I will say is that RSI is super low here as well with this sell off. So I think risk reward is certainly good, especially with the environment that we're in. Earnings come out and they do well, and with companies like this, and they either don't move much or they move a pretty decent amount, but we haven't seen the same type of volatility to the upside with some of these earnings. So I think that there's still really good opportunity. I will say, though, if they come in and somehow lay an egg on earnings and they don't give good guidance and they start talking about how they're reducing ad spend or that other companies are reducing ad spend, then I could see how Google may actually suffer some more to the downside. Watch for that 2350 area. That could be a real possibility, but we won't know anything until those earnings come out tomorrow, April 26th, after hours. So again, I'll be reacting to those live with you guys. Make sure you're tuning in and hit that notification bell. And if you want to see my outlook on Microsoft's earnings, take a look at this link up here. I give another in-depth analysis on Microsoft as well. You guys aren't going to want to miss that. Those earnings are tomorrow too. So that's going to do it for me. I'll see you tomorrow.